Thanks guys for joining. I know it's not a big group of us today, it's a Saturday afternoon, but I think it's a landmark in terms of us signing the agreement for the Buzzer app that we're going to be introducing into Fisher. Tracy is here from Buzzer, and Ria, her daughter, so she's come all the way from Out Bay. Just some quick background on Buzzer. They run a 24-hour control room, and they've developed this app which synchronizes the community together with the first responders and emergency responders in the area. So everything kind of seamlessly works when you need it most. So in my opinion, yeah, it's just basically bringing the emergency responders and the community all together into one platform. And I personally believe that this is, it's a building block, one brick or one block in terms of, the whole of keeping Fisher safe. It's just one aspect of creating a safer Fisher. So thanks guys for joining, I appreciate it. Kevin from Remax is going to be sponsoring the app for the community. So we're going to be running the app specifically for Main Road, Beach Road, Recreation Roads, First Avenue, all the way down to Clovelly. And I think it's going to be quite effective, especially within the dynamics of Fisher, being a central hub, a town square. I think it's going to work really, really well here. So it's not going to cost us anything. He's picking up the tab. And yeah, so I'm very grateful for Kevin and Remax Premier.
Yeah.
Give
him a round of applause for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to say it's a premiere of Remax Premier. We at 17 Carlton Close. We're not the one over here. That's a totally separate business.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know there's a distinction. No, thanks for this. And Jonathan from Community Policing Forum, Jonathan Mills, might be here a little bit later. But yeah, he's also quite key in the whole sense of setting up Buzzer into the community. The nice thing about Buzzer, guys, is it's monitored by 24-hour control room. And we're hopefully going to set that up. No, it's not a cat, it's my wife's cell phone, and it's a SMS notification. But she loves it when people look around. We'll edit that later. Cool, man. And yeah, obviously, thank you so much to SoapSuds for hosting us today and being part of the program and wanting to also do their part, keeping Fisher safe. Tracy, I'm going to hand over to you, and also sorry guys, thank you to the community that have come out. I know there's some strong people here and committed people in terms of keeping our streets safe and secure. And this is our chairperson for the Neighbourhood Watch, by the way.
Yes.
So Tracy, I'm going to hand over to you. If you can just fill us in quickly and just guide us through the Buzzer process and how it's worked for you guys and what we can expect moving forward. Thanks so much.
All right.
Give her a clap, guys.
So I work for CCP, which is Community Crime Prevention, and we're a non-profit organisation in Out Bay, which was started by Kerry Cross about 8 years ago. We were experiencing really, really high levels of crime. We've divided Out Bay into 42 zones. And the one zone, Penzance, next to IY, our one informal settlement. We've got 2 informal settlements, so we're kind of a microcosm for the rest of South Africa. And we're experiencing, on average, 35 to 45 break-ins a month. We've brought that down to 3 in the past year across Out Bay.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's quite amazing. So Kerry actually started with the Neighbourhood Watch, where she was doing her own thing in Penzance, and she created a sort of triangle where she was the person in the middle. She organised volunteer responders, and then you had the residents phoning her and telling her there's a problem. She would get hold of the responders and designate where they should be and how they should be. And she had put up camera systems, and the rest of Out Bay came to her because she was doing this so successfully. She decided to leave her job, and she built a 24/7 community control room, very sophisticated. So what we do is we monitor the secondary feed for about 2,000 cameras in Out Bay. So each zone in Out Bay has been responsible for setting up their own camera system and forming their own CID or special rates area, etc. And we then take the secondary feed. So the minute we hear there's a problem, we will then go in and open the cameras and check out that area. We also monitor the City of Cape Town cameras, And then there are various systems that we've built. So it's all just different layers of security. So we've got our own first responders and medics, and then we work closely with ADT and Deep Blue and SAPS. We had a really good relationship with the previous station commander. Then also with the local baboon catcher and snake catcher and the fire department. And we've built various systems like a repeat offender and reporting hub, where we're able to, with reporting hub, our controllers can, every single incident that takes place, they very accurately record that on reporting hub, and then we can heat map it, and we graph, and we can say to the City of Cape Town, there's a crime hotspot up on the pipe track, we need extra cameras there, etc. And the other system we built is Buzzer. And the reason why we built Buzzer is because we were monitoring over 187 WhatsApp groups, emergency WhatsApp groups, and we know how those work. To the lady who went through the traffic light, and we know it's not an emergency. And it was an absolute nightmare. Our ops manager was being tagged on Facebook pages 4 hours after a mugging took place. So what we realized is that we needed a communication tool, something that could tell us where is the problem, what is the problem, who is having the problem, and then we'd be able to allocate efficient resources. You know, instead of having a crime incident where everyone's going to the crime incident, but now we're getting 2 more reports that something else has happened over here and everyone's over there, and the medics are there when they should be at the accident over here. So what we did was we held a workshop, and we had a representative of everybody from the community. So we had an old granny, and we had a young child, and we had someone from SAPS and the traffic department and the fire department and the security service providers, and we sat down and we held the workshop and we brainstormed the ideal process going forward for when somebody is in trouble. And we wanted something that didn't discriminate, and hence why the app is free for residents to download. The organisation that administers the app takes responsibility for the licensing fees, etc. So we had the blueprint for Buzzer, and then we looked both locally and internationally to see if there was another security emergency app that could work like Buzzer could work, and there wasn't. So we built it ourselves. And we had it built by an Israeli tech company who also do the FBI and the CIA security sites, etc. So they knew a lot about security. They didn't know too much about community, which we did. And they built the code for Buzzer, and we used Buzzer in stealth mode for about 1.5 years. And then we had a Ukrainian tourist on Chapman's Peak Drive, and 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning was murdered. 10 meters off one of the most popular hiking trails, just off the road. And 2 hikers found him. He was still actually bleeding out. They pushed Buzzer, and within 3 minutes we had all 3 suspects apprehended. Wow. So then there was quite a lot of media attention locally and internationally, and everyone around us started asking us, what is Buzzer, why can't we use Buzzer? So we ironed out the glitches, and we wanted to start rolling Buzzer out, which we started to do. And then the Israeli company turned around and wanted to buy us out, and Kerry said no. They wanted to globalize Buzzer and market it to the rest of the world, to give us a little percentage. We said no, and it ended up being, it wasn't a great situation. We did have to bring the app down, but we made that decision to bring the code home and to own the app ourselves. And we had an in-house developer rebuild Buzzer last year, so we had to bring the app down for 4 months. There were some angry people, but we are really proud to say that we've got it now to a level where it's doing what we wanted to do. It's got the functionality and the features that we wanted to upgrade to, that these guys weren't doing for us. And we have now, successfully in the last year started rolling Buzzer out nationally as well. So we're setting up Nelspruit next week. We have set up the whole of Grahamstown and Kent-on-Sea. We've got 4 different organisations in the whole of Potchefstroom. We've got massive CIDs up in Gauteng now looking at Buzzer. We are doing a trial for the whole George area through the municipality and CPF driven with Cape Nature, and most of the peninsula is now actually covered. So from Hout Bay, or from Noordhoek Daskro, all the way around through to the City Bowl. Into Milnerton we've got a presence, we've got a nice strong presence now in the southern suburbs, and hopefully now we're going to have a presence in Fisher. Muizenberg have been speaking to me again from Mid, and the Cork Bay SRA. So we're hoping we can see a nice spread here, because the beauty with Buzzer is when you leave an area and you go to another area that is set up with Buzzer, you are connected to their network. So if I go now to Grahamstown or to Stanford or to Paarl, if I use the app, the minute I open the app, it geolocates where I am, and it will say to me, you are in an active area and you are protected by sea-bar or by Cyclops in Paarl, for example. So that was great. That's our vision, to see a safer South Africa where everyone's working together. So, yes.
Tracy, can I ask you, in picturing Fisher, how
Yes.
can you see your application working for this sort of environment, this space?
Well, look, for us, your response side is going to be important. The app is going to have to be monitored 24/7. We're going to have to do, and we do that, we do a 12-week marketing program with each new area where we get the word out that the app is available, and whoever the responding organisations are going to be will obviously be highlighted in that as well. So Fish Hoek Central Neighbourhood Watch, your logo is going to be on that app, your responders, or I'm not quite sure how this is going to be monitored, but my understanding is that perhaps it will be your at Mano.
We'll be sending all that
that's it,
information to you
yeah.
next week.
So look, it's going to take a little bit of time to get people downloading the app, but the thing is, what we urge the community to do is to be the eyes and ears, to use the app discerningly, but at the same time, we encourage everyone in Hart Bay, even if you're feeling uncomfortable, send us a report. Say to us suspicious activity. The more everybody becomes vigilant and being aware of what's happening around them, then the app for us has become more about flushing out a bad element or preventing a situation before, you don't really want to be pushing.
What I like about it is it centralizes all the information and processes information so quickly that you can start preventing activity.
So, well, exactly. So, I mean, it's a way of moving away from the WhatsApp groups. It's a way of being able to see exactly who is got a problem, where is the problem, and being able to respond on that incident. You're going to have an incident history as well, so you're going to be able to start tracking, where the hotspots, what's actually going down. It's imperative that there's a decent response side, and that the community works together, and that you're not afraid to use that.
Just a quick question. CMR, for example,
yes.
they don't want to come on the app at this stage
yes.
because they feel that they don't have the capacity to monitor extra app or system. So they still prefer us to phone through and explain the situation to them, and they can go through their checks and balances and say, okay, it merits us coming out, or no, rather phone City or...
And I think that's going to be an important thing as well, is that whatever resources you do have, if they're not linked in as responders, that you guys who are, the exco of the Neighbourhood Watch, etc., the more senior members of the community, should I say, should be able to have a list amongst you of who you will dispatch to in the event that it's a snake bite, or it's I don't know if you have those resources here, that you've got the local, snake catcher and all the rest. Because we've had incidences. There was a couple of weeks ago where a baby was found at the bottom of the swimming pool. The nanny didn't know how to swim. She didn't know what to do. She was screaming. The next door neighbours had buzzer, pushed through an alert. We then spoke them through how to do CPR before we sent our medical team. And the baby was safe, thank God. We had a chap on Glen Beach whose friend's surfboard pierced the valve of his heart. And with Buzzer, we had a medical team there, Camps Bay sent a medical team, and it saved his life. So, it's life-saving. There's been a chap who wandered out of Hart Bay and up onto Table Mountain who had some sort of phobia and disorder, and he couldn't get off the mountain, and we sent Ryan Sands up because he actually used Buzzer. And we found him in the middle of the night with Ryan Sands, the trail runner, and took him blankets and, emergency equipment and all the rest, and then we could bring him down the mountain the next day. So, there have been amazing stories. There was a hijacking in the CBD the other day, where with the Neighbourhood Watch, with C-Bar, then they got SACS involved, they got Tracker involved. There was a high-speed chase on the N2, but they managed to actually take a picture of the license plate. And that's the beauty with Buzzer as well. You can actually add a photograph to an incident, and if it's a suspicious person, the control room can deny or blur it so that the public don't get it, but all the responders get it, so you know who you're looking for, and then it won't interfere with any court case procedures. Your medical details can be added on there on the Premium Plus, which means that in the event that you're involved in an accident, they're going to be able to pick up what your medical aid details are. So, there are lots of little features like that as well. You're able to leave a voice note if you're actually on the run. If someone's chasing you and, you need to leave a voice note and go, well, this is what's happening. You're able to do that as well. So it's very smart, simple technology. But what it does is it links the community together with the responders and with the control room.
Sorry, one last question from our side, from the Neighborhood Watch side. If obviously we're setting up our control room on the side, we might be using Manu's control room as well. In the event of something happening here, are you guys still notified or pinged in Harpe, your central control room?
We will be keeping an eye.
Okay.
So we do keep it. So we do keep an eye, just so that no alerts get missed. So we hold your hand in the beginning. And then we obviously constantly, there is a tech support.
So it is all picked up in Harpe and Central?
Yeah, look, it's not really, no, this will be Kerry and JJ, because they've got every single area on their phones. It's our control room isn't monitoring that. Our control room is monitoring our footprint, and then that we also monitoring for Camps Bay, but that's a whole separate setup. But Kerry and JJ and our technician will be always keeping an eye on other areas just to make sure that
Kevin, is there anything you'd like to add or say just in terms of the sponsorship side?
We're very focused on the community here in the South Peninsula, and we've been quite involved with a number of very worthy initiatives, and I think this is absolutely awesome. I was actually looking at when I first opened my franchise a year ago. I was looking at Fishhook Main Road, and the one thing that really scared me away from this area is I've got people that work. I've got 18 agents at my office, and they sometimes have to work late at night. It's not safe after hours, and I think something like this is going to give us that extra tool. And that's a nice way for us to give back to the community. The community has been very good to us. So I'm grateful. But I do have a question.
Yes.
I've got 108 agents. Could they use this? They had the Buzzer App on their phones. Could you do something like that? And
I'm not following you. I mean, they're going to obviously. Are they here in this area?
No, the whole of Cape Town.
Oh, yeah.
So, but because we're using a number of other things, and there's a lot of issues at the moment with people coming to show days and sometimes stealing things.
Yeah.
We've been blessed that nothing's happened to any of my team, but I know an agent that was part of that Kruger's book. The lady that got killed was Greenback's agent. So something like that. If we had an app like this, I wonder if there's something that I could use for my team.
Look, it depends on the areas where they're at. We've got two different business models. So there's one is where, I mean, the thing is your agents are moving around. They're different show houses. So the way Buzzer works is we've got a geofence an area for you. So, I mean, they could download the app if they're in an area that's actively running with the general community buzzer. They're going to be covered. They'll be connected to that network. The other option is that you actually took out a separate package and you took an exclusive community, which means exclusive community means only your agents get a code and get added to the app. But then we would need to geofence every single branch.
Tracy, at the moment, if one of Kevin's agents step out into Camps Bay,
if he steps, So the phone's going to say to them if they're in an area that's covered by Buzzer. So if they're in Milnerton, if they're in Constantia, if they're in Takai, Camps Bay, City Bowl, Atlantic Seaboard, Hart Bay, it's going to tell them that they are connected to a network. The minute they're in an area that isn't, they might still see that they're connected to other Buzzer users, but that's not a
So Tracy, is there any cost involved in that, or can I just download the app?
No, they can download the app.
And they covered with
and which yeah.
Guys, cool. As a community, is there anyone that wants to say anything before we start closing up and doing the signing? Elaine, as the chairperson, are you?
No, I think everything's been covered. Thank you.
Good, thanks.
All right, guys. Just before we do the signing, quickly, thank you, Tracy,
Okay,
so much.
pleasure.
Are you finished?
Yeah, no, I'm done. Unless any questions, I can go on all day. War stories.
I like that. Just a quick one, guys. Also, just safety in the area. Just remember from SAPS, they said please don't leave stuff in your cars. Don't leave your sunglasses or your bags leaving on the seats and stuff. A lot of the crime that's been happening lately with regards to car theft and car break-ins has been people are looking, they're caught in camera looking inside, move to the next car, and they'll specifically break the one that has something of interest.
Do you have cameras all around this area, and who monitors that?
A lot of it is monitored by Mark 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who are the main responders then for this area currently? Like when you've got an issue with the street people?
It is Mark 1, yeah.
Okay, and SAPS, do they have
SAPS, yeah.
And are they quite on it here?
They are.
Okay.
They have their moments.
Yeah.
Depends who's on duty,
Yes.
who's on duty for the
Yeah.
night, but normally visible policing. Some of the guys are better than other guys, so just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
Do
normally,
they
generally,
regularly
they're
patrol
pretty good.
here at night?
Yeah. And you also, funny enough, get the Simonstown guys driving through here, back to Simonstown. You get the Ocean View guys coming here to get supper or whatever. So you do get a lot of
traffic in the sense of
visible policing
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah. But you still can't walk up and down here at night.
You can up to a certain point, but I think we have two aspects. We've got the Vic, Victorian pub, and we've got Papa Joe's. And both of those establishments are attracting different people. And Donovan, sorry, is there something you want to add? Oh, okay. So both of those establishments kind of attract different clientele, and they are not always good for the area, especially at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I live opposite.
Oh gosh.
Papa Joe's.
Guys, let's do the signing over, and thanks, Aaron. If you can also just snap some photos of it, that would be great. Okay, so thanks. Donovan, we're going to have 5 minutes after this if we can record. Okay, so Tracy, if you can just guide us through, are we initialing? Have you had a chance to initiate?
Yeah, I'm actually
you
happy with
just
that.
need to initial each page.
Okay.
And
Kevin's inside chat. So that we can sort out on Monday, that's all fine. Thanks again, Kevin, for coming on board with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Front page of the organisation.
That should be the last picture.
Yeah.
So we're going back to front, like the Hebrew
Page
language.
numbers. No.
Just monitor.
So I think that comes at the, okay, we're going to need, alright, so this will be the invoice details, the stakeholder, so that will be,
Yeah, I'll let Kevin sign in. Shall I sign next to
and
him?
I'll sign next to it as well.
Then, thanks. May as well initial while you're there.
And then I'm going to
I
need
think
you.
you'll get to 9 minutes. Good.
I don't sign here.
Yes.
Operating on the cloud chat. Great. Okay, do you want to look through that one and make sure we've signed all the dotted lines and if we've missed anywhere, and you can also sign. Thanks so much. No rugby or anything today?
And then I just need you to do, is it Remax that's going to put their details here? That's okay.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you want to maybe take this with you and then Monday you can just get Melissa to double check everything?
Yeah.
Run through it and then she can send it through. Cool, thank you.
Are you coming?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take
Okay,
it back anyway for all
perfect.
the VAT details and stuff as well from the invoice.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you
Very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. And Kevin, come stand here. We want to get you in the shot as well. So cheers.
Cheers.
Hey guys, thanks so much.
Cool.
Great, thank you so much.
Cool, man.